Do you know the three things that makes or breaks someone in sales? Number one is articulation. The right articulation sets up the tonality. The right tonality creates certainty and the right perception, ultimately ownership of the process. And that's what the lead wants to feel, is ownership of the process. Number two, you need to know how many appointments you have and how many got voice confirmed and how many did not. Number three, how many sales calls did you have today? How many missed? The ones that missed went to rebooks. See, all of this should be happening real time and being compiled. And once you get to 100,000 a month, you just got to make sure you keep watching those numbers so you know everything about your business. You'll know how to get to $1 million a month. How do I know? I've done it several times. Now I'm going for $1 billion. The reason why I'm going after $1 billion is not for the money. I'm already financially retired. I'm going because I want to get better as a person. Do you know the three things that makes or breaks someone in sales? Number one is articulation. Number two, the right articulation sets up the tonality. The right tonality creates certainty and the right perception, ultimately ownership of the process, right? And that's what the lead wants to feel, is ownership of the process. But the thing is that none of this would have happened had you not watched your numbers. See, because you're going, man, every night you're sitting down and compiling, just like a person in a retail store, they count the register, how much is in there, how much did they start with and how much is in there. Then they match it against their POS system, right? It's the same thing here. You have to know when you do your spreadsheets. I have mine built into my system. So whenever my setters or closers are actually doing things, they're actually clicking and making it happen, right? It's going straight to the dashboard. But it doesn't matter. Excel spreadsheets, sheets, whatever you use, you've got to create your tables so where whoever's working with you, everybody is tracking every single movement. For example, when someone dials the phone, you need to know how many dials a day your people are doing. Number two, you need to know how many appointments you have and how many got voice confirmed and how many did not. Number three, how many sales calls did you have today? How many missed? The ones that missed went to rebooks. See, all of this should be happening real time and being compiled. And as your group and your team is compiling, at the end of the day, you get to see what actually happened. And that movement of what happened creates the ratios. I know some of you guys, your eyes are crossed right now. You're going, man, this is like too much. I don't want, listen, it's not too much. It's too much when you don't look at your numbers, because then your cost per acquisition of a sale goes through the roof. So don't be that person that doesn't know what to do. So let's make it really simple now. So your numbers tell your story of what's happening. Write it down. They tell you the story of what's happening. The numbers are the story of what is happening. So what you need to do is you need to understand, just like when you write a book or you write a paragraph or you write something down to somebody or a note or whatever, it's telling a story. Your numbers tell the story of where you're great and where you need to improve. So be that person that has your numbers watertight, okay? Number two, if you know your numbers, you can predict when you make your 10,000 a month, your 100,000 a month, and many times $1 million a month. How do we know that? Because if you know how many leads it takes to get, how many clicks it takes to get one person to opt in, you know how many opt-ins it takes to get one booked appointment, or how many opt-ins to get one sale, right? Or maybe it's then how many sales is it taking to do what? To get someone to do the next part of your sales funnel, right? You have to know all this. And when you know your numbers and you go, gosh, this closer's 10 to 1, this closer's 12 to 1, this closer's 13 to 1, and you average it and you say, okay, well, our average is like, let's say 12 to 1. That means if you bring in enough leads and everyone's at 12 to 1, let's just say, for example, today you've got 100 booked appointments. Watch this, 100 divided by 12. That means you're gonna get 8 sales today. And if your product is $3,000, that means today you're gonna do $25,000. See, it's predictable at this point. How did you get to 25,000? You knew exactly how many leads it took to get one booked appointment. You know how many booked appointments it took to get one sale. And because you know that, you know how your business is going to produce today. More importantly, you now know, once you've looked at your numbers, where to go in your business and celebrate and where to fix. See, if you don't know what to do, then you're just going to do the same thing every day. You're going to be cookie cutter day in and day out. And you don't want that to happen, because you may have some good qualities coming out the gate. But on the other hand, majority of people, when they come out the gate and start a business, they've never ran a business. They don't understand how serious you got to be and how on it you got to be. Like, for example, we've got, just in the last hour, right? We've had leads come in. See all these leads? I'm messaging, to my guys that these leads went to. Hey, you got to do lead, get on it. Let's go. They're hot. They're people just hit submit on the website, attack, go. Get them booked, get them confirmed, let's go, go, go. So what you got to understand is, if you don't know what's going on, these guys are getting their own text messages that their leads are dropping, but I'm taking individual responsibility that the leads are dropping, and I'm all over it. When they see I'm all over it, they know that it's what I expect out of them, right? My closers. So you got to create the precedence of your team. You got to create the sense of urgency in your team. And then at the end of the day, you've got to be the person that compiles the numbers, puts them all together, finds out who your best producer are, who's your worst producer, celebrate with everybody, and fix the patterns that are off. You got a predictable model now, okay? So how do you create good habits and bad habits with numbers? Well, a good habit is when you end the day and you compile all your numbers, and you literally, every single lead, you've got to go dissect. Meaning, if you knew you had, on 48 hours out, you had 10 leads to confirm, 24 hours out was 10, and today you had 10. That's 30 leads. At the end of the day, you need to go through what happened to every one of those 30 leads. Okay, so we've been talking about the good and bad habits with numbers. What you have to understand here is that those good habits, by staying on the evening, identifying with your people, then in the morning before you get started, the same thing you did last night is what you do in the morning. You should know exactly how many appointments you have in the schedule, how many of them got confirmed the day before, how many of them did not. So you know going into this exactly what's about to happen, right? Because at night, I spend 45 minutes with my closers, okay? And I go through every one of their days. I go through the numbers they worked, how many got voice confirmed, how many did not, their appointments. I go through their calls, how many did you close, how many did you not? And I find out if they had 10 calls booked and only 2 people showed up, that's not acceptable, okay? Because that means 8 people didn't show up. Now that never happens to us, it happens to all the other companies out there. I have a special technique that I use, and I get 9 to 10 people out of 10 that show up, but we'll talk about that later. The key thing is that we want to make sure that every single lead is voice confirmed and shows up for the sales call. So we create good habits. Bad habits are when you don't do your celebrate and fix at night. You don't look at your spreadsheets. You don't compile the information, what happened for the day. You don't know how many dials your team did. You don't know how many presentations your team did. You don't know how many voice confirmations your team did on the setting of the appointments. And it's just like, it's one of those things where if you just neglect your business, guess what's going to happen? Your cost per acquisitions are going to go through the roof. You're going to get taken advantage of from your employees, your contractors, or whoever, and you're just have no business in being in business. Now, here's what I would recommend you do. If you are in that situation, you need to click the link in the bottom of my YouTube channel here, right below, and you need to go through my sales funnel, and you need to become a digital closer. Let me help you close deals. Let me put you through how I operate. Let me teach you the ropes. Because I got 20 years of underneath my belt. I've been personally trained by Jim Rohn. I don't screw around and try to see what happens. I make things happen. Okay, so there's a lot of things. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about here is, what does personal development have to do with numbers? People go, you got to do personal development. How does it relate to numbers? How it relates to numbers is that if you don't think right, and you just think like an employee, and you bring an employee attitude to a business, and you operate your business like an employee, like, oh, it's time for lunch. Oh, I got to take a break. Oh, I got to go home now so I can have dinner and sit with my family. I'm sorry, guys. That's just not the way it works. There is no such thing as life-work balance. If you want to go somewhere and you want to have a quality of life down the road, you got to put in every second of your life into the business. And people go, well, why would that be worth it? Are you kidding me? Do you really think going to work for 40 years and getting a measly paycheck every 2 weeks and doesn't increase and get like a 3% increase maybe every 2 years that doesn't even keep up with inflation is worth it? That's worth it? To rack up your credit cards to live is worth it? To refinance your house every 10 years to pay off your credit cards because your job doesn't give you enough money is worth it? Come on, guys, let's get real here. You got to get your ass off the couch and you got to get to work and you got to learn the fundamentals. But the only way you can start the process is by doing personal development every day. Read the book, listen to the audio book, watch Jim Rohn on YouTube. I watch him every morning. Put him on, have my coffee, take notes. Sometimes I just listen, come back, re-listen to it again, take my notes. I'm getting my mind prepared, even though it's been 20 years. Every single day, I do personal development. There's no excuses to it. I'm not going to get myself going backwards because I'm not doing personal development. I'm going to always do personal development, set the habit so that I don't think like an average Joe. It's so easy to get around the average Joe, and the average Joe wants to sit on the couch and watch TV. Hey, come over and watch a ball game. Let's have some food. Let's go out tonight. No, thank you. If you don't, I'm going to be very frank with you. This is going to shock most of you when I say this. If you don't have $10 million liquid, you have no business not working 7 days a week right now. 10 million is the new million, guys. Used to be $1 million. Now it's 10 million. You must do whatever it takes to put a plan of action together to get yourself to earn 10 million taxes paid in the bank, and then distribute that cash into other verticals we'll talk about later. You got to get your money working for you, but you got to be worth liquid. I'm not talking about owning 3 homes and each home can get you up to 10 million. If you liquidate the homes, you still only have $250,000. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you having money. Like if you need to get on your hands on 10 mil, that's what you got to have your hands on. I can do that in 2 seconds. The shit hits the fan for me, I can get 10 mil right now. I don't got to call anybody. I don't got to do nothing. I don't say that to brag to you. What I'm saying that to is I worked my ass. I can do way more than that. But I just worked my ass off and made sure I got these fundamentals with my numbers down, and I stayed patient. It didn't happen overnight for me. I didn't have some easy luck. I didn't have someone hand me a contract where I was able to make a gob with some money. I had to learn the business fundamentals. I had to know my numbers like I know my name. If someone calls me right now and says, hey, how many leads does it take to get this? I know it. How many sales is it taking you? How many leads is it taking to get 1 sale? I know it. Which ads is producing the best for you? I know it. What's the cost per ad? How much are you spending per day on your ads? I know all my numbers because I want to win. Now, when I know my numbers, I know what to go fix and I know what to do more of. See how powerful numbers are? They're so powerful. So do personal development every single day like you're brushing your teeth. You just got to do it. If you've heard my other podcast, you heard that. You got to do personal development like you're brushing your teeth. There's no excuse for it. Next, you want to loop your personal development into your numbers every day, because sometimes what happens is this. When I mean loop your personal development into your numbers, what I mean by that is you kind of have to like the thread and needle, right? A lot of times people are going to challenge you in life. Like I know for me, I got challenged like, hey, this is never going to work. Hey, you're crazy working all these hours. Hey, if you have all this money, why do you only have 3 pairs of jeans? Well, I was investing it in my advertising. Why don't you have a Lambo? I had a guy the other day, he goes, where's your Lamborghini now that you're in Miami? I said, well, that's a dumb question. How about, have you made over 100 mil? I said, have you made over 100 mil, brother? He goes, no. I said, then shut your mouth. I don't want to hear nonsense. I don't need to compete with the guy that makes $200,000 a year because he has a Lambo. Lambo does not describe anything. Cash money describes everything. Portfolios, assets, passive residual income shows you who you are. Almost 90% of the people that walk around all day don't have what I have. They don't have the portfolios. They don't have the assets. They don't have the income kicking off. And I didn't get that overnight. I learned my numbers on my current business, and I learned it and I scaled it and I continued to grow it and get it better because I know my numbers. And if you focus on that and do nothing but improve yourself, over time, you'll start making that first 10,000 in a month is so sweet. I think 10,000 a month feels better than 100,000 a month. I really do, because you work your brains out and see nothing in the beginning. You're doing everything, you're up late, you're getting up early, and nothing happens. And you just go, and all of a sudden you get your first 2 customers. And you keep working, it's barely happening, you're barely paying your bills, and all of a sudden you get a couple referrals because you did great customer service. Log it all down. And then it just gets going. All of a sudden, after a year, maybe a year and a half, you may get to 10,000 a month. And you're going, oh my God, that was a lot of work. But guess what? That was so powerful. Look at what you learned and look at who you became in the process. All that work, all that time sacrifice, everything you did to push that business to 10,000 a month. You have it all recorded. You know how you got there. Now make sure you know it, because if you know how to get to 10,000 a month, you definitely know how to get to 100,000 a month. And once you get to 100,000 a month, you just got to make sure you keep watching those numbers so you know everything about your business. You'll know how to get to $1 million a month. How do I know? I've done it several times. Now I'm going for $1 billion. Now, to the average Joe, they're like, oh, that's cool, $1 billion. No. Billion's not cool. The reason why I'm going after $1 billion is not for the money. I'm already financially retired. I'm going because I want to get better as a person. I want to be a better business operator. I want to learn how to delegate at the highest level. I want to know how to be that billionaire executive. I don't need the money. What's another penthouse going to do, or another car, or another portfolio going to do? Is it going to really make my life easier? No, it's not. I'm already on easy street from the work that I did. Now, when I say easy street, I'm not saying that I'm just sitting here mopping the floors with cash, which I can, but I'm still acting like I'm broke the way I work. So in conclusion here, here's what I'd recommend you do. Sit down, write a business plan, talk to ChatGTP, get some plugins in there so you can get a really good historical launch that can kind of give you a forecast of what you got to do on a daily basis. And then every day you get your advertising going to where it's producing numbers for you, and you look at those numbers, you celebrate what's great, and you fix what's not. Do not let the grass grow in. That means don't look 3, 4, 5, 10 days down the road and go, oh, I got a problem. I just lost more money. I didn't know how to. You lost money not because the business lost it, it's because you didn't pay attention. Okay? I hope this helps. It's a little more detail, not unbelievably exciting. But for me, this is probably the most exciting part of the business, because now you know how to lever your income to 10 to 100 to $1 million a month, right? Take individual responsibility, everybody. 6 p.m. Eastern, put it in your calendar, hit the notifications, subscribe now. Listen, we all know this. We all know. We hear it all day long, right? On the YouTube channels, subscribe now and put the notifications on. But listen, the reason why you don't want to do it with me is because I'll change your life. I have no agenda with you. A lot of you come to me because you've gotten every course that exists out there. You're still in the same situation. You don't know what to do. Listen, I've done it. I've done it for 20 years. I've been the guy on the phone for 20 years. I've been doing the advertising for 20 years. I've been the one running the organization for 20 some years. I'm not the guy that got rich and then points to everybody to go work. I'm still in it now. I know how to do it. I've done it. And so that's why you want to turn on your notifications. That's why you want to subscribe, so we can get you better business person. We can get you fine-tuned. Okay? We'll see you on 6 o'clock next week, Eastern time. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell. Let's go. Bye for now.